I thought you were going to play a fire brigade tune. What just
I
happened?
looked up for it. It's not available. Okay, the guy doing the SFX from his mouth, his name is RJ Rishi Kapoor. The guy pointing in various directions, standing in front of me is Kunal Shah. This is the Inside Line, the Formula 1 podcast, the Mecca Medina of audio Formula 1 as we call it. Kunal Shah is here. Kunal, explain to people why I was doing that sound effect.
Because Formula 1 is on fire, literally.
Yes.
We had a McLaren.
Yes.
We had a Ferrari.
Yes.
And we had a Mercedes catch fire.
Going up in flames in Jerez because their engines didn't just hold up.
Engine failure, gearbox failure, brake failure,
Rare
a lot
brake
of other
failures.
failures.
Oh yes. Lots of it happened. Actual takeaway from the test is
Nothing.
there we go. Nothing, because we don't understand what fuel levels they are running. We don't understand how hot they go on their compounds. We don't understand if they're running the aero package they'll be running in Australia. So we don't give a damn. Today we're going to be doing something absolutely outside in the inside line.
That's correct. That's something I'm going to let you explain to our listeners.
Little bit of explanation going on. Today we are going to talk about the fact that if there were 3 instead of the regular 2 cars in every team, which driver would we want to drive that third car?
That's correct. And a little caveat here. The third driver will be somebody who's not already on the grid in 2013.
Correct. Either that driver is fired or is considered retired or does not have enough funds to come into a Formula 1 car. Here it goes. Both Kunal and I, for the first time, agree on one thing and one thing only, that if there has to be a third driver in Red Bull, it has to be
Michael?
Schumacher!
Okay.
Michael Schumacher is Weltmeister. Why?
Well, we'd all love to see him win. Probably the only team that he can currently win in is Red Bull Racing.
So, yes, we beg and actually bow down to Red Bull. If you can, please get him on board. We would like to see him win once before the final bow. Moving on to team number 2. Team number 2 is...
We can do without those effects.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
My bad. Team number 2 is Ferrari. Ferrari, if they had a third car, obviously all the 3 cars would look like a car that favors Alonso, but still we would like the third car to be in hands of.
I would probably have a Schumacher again. Possibly. It'll be great fun to see him go wheel to wheel in his team called Ferrari, along with Alonso's team also called Ferrari. Okay. The other option that would be really interesting would be Jacques Villeneuve.
Jacques Villeneuve.
Yes.
That's a nice one.
Yes.
That's actually a nice one because Jacques is just dynamic enough. But I would want to see another Italian in that car. Somebody who's tested that car. The name is absolutely radical. The name is Valentino Rossi.
Oh my God, yes. We should totally have a Valentino Rossi race in Formula 1.
The next team we're going to move on to is another historic team. It's McLaren. McLaren has Jenson Button. McLaren has Checo this year. So the third driver, according to you, would be
Mika Hakkinen. You can't think of someone else. You know, when you look at Mika, McLaren written all over him all the time. So Mika Hakkinen, it would be. I'm sorry for all those Coulthard fans, but
sadly, I would have to agree to that. No point to fight, yeah. Very boring podcast today. Kunal, the next team is going to be
Mercedes.
Mercedes is the team. Mercedes has Lewis Hamilton. Huge amounts of money coming in. A lot of experience coming in. Ross Brawn might just be kicked out of the team, but the third driver would be,
in my view, the only one who can make Mercedes win is one Manuel Fangio.
Yes, the only guy who anyway won in that car in the past and multiple times this year. Imagine Mercedes with 2 guys with yellow helmets.
Yes.
I mean, really, what's happening there? Like really, the least they could have done
Probably
is
they figured that yellow is most aerodynamically favored color.
A little point to bring here after the RS test. Lewis Hamilton clearly said he's really missing the downforce from McLaren. I'm not going to force down any more opinions here, but Lotus is the next team. Lotus has my man Kimi Raikkonen in it. Roman Grosjean, who's the wall man. Now, the logic is, because Kimi Raikkonen doesn't speak, or if he does, he only says, just leave me alone, I know what I'm doing. So, we need another character who actually speaks a lot in Formula 1, about Formula 1's people, and that man would be
Eddie Irvine, the motor mouth himself.
The motor mouth. That exhaust pipe does not have a closing end. Is there any other name that rings a bell, Kunal?
Has to be Robert Kubica.
Yes, Kubica.
The man who almost drove the Lotus.
Yeah, scheduled for a drive.
Hopefully will drive it pretty soon as well.
Kimi Raikkonen is going to thank Kubica's hand for braking. He got a drive because of that. Saber, moving on. Saber actually this year ditched Kobayashi for reasons, for talent, for money. I think he should be driver number 3 in Sauber.
I agree with you for a change, Rishi.
Yes, yes.
But can we also think of another option, another driver who's possibly done well?
Retro?
Why not? Yeah, we could go retro. Sauber is a retro team.
Yeah,
as
Sauber
well.
is an original racing team, an original racing man, Heinz-Harald Frentzen.
Oh, Schumacher's old rival.
Yeah, Schumacher's old rival. Do you know their rivalry actually went beyond the track?
I know that, and I know where you're coming at.
Okay, for those who don't know, Michael's wife Corina dated Frentzen in the past before dating Michael and
During
actually...
their Formula 3 days, if I'm not
Correct.
mistaken.
Yes. So
My God, we're getting into F1 gossip. Move on. This is the inside line, not the inside cover stories.
Sahara Force India F1 SFI, the Indian home to racing. We want a second driver before we actually decide the third one. So here's the deal. We cannot decide on the third one. For the second one, we have an option called Adrian Sutil that I absolutely love. But on a personal note, I would also want Giancarlo Fisichella in that car because he's a talented bloke. But, well, right now, we will work with Sutil because I have a biased opinion against it. Sue me.
I'll just add to that.
Yes.
It's lovely to have everyone guessing. Okay. And by the looks of it, probably given the names that have been discussed,
Correct.
They'll probably need a 5-car team only for Sahara Force India. So.
Narayan, as they say in India. Coming up, next team on the line on our cards is Williams F1, original Formula 1 team, done very well in the past with a half-bald guy called Juan Pablo Montoya, another big mouth.
Motor mouth again, yeah. I would have loved to see him back in Formula 1. I don't think
character.
he's doing that great in Indy cars.
Do you know he actually tried punching 2 people there as well?
Really?
Yes, he did.
Oh, wow. So
Absolutely.
he's perfectly needed in Formula 1 back. But there's another driver, a really talented driver.
Name?
Takuma Sato, who I would love to see back in Formula 1.
Reason?
Okay, because he and Maldonado would make amazing teammates.
Yes, so they go and crash into
They'd
the
make
leader.
crash cars and let the
Montoya
third
win.
driver, Montoya.
Fabulous. Toro Rosso is like a driver's academy that leads up, makes a driving seat for Red Bull. This year again they go with the last year's pair. Having a third car would be really beneficial for them. Who would you like to see?
A lot of old names actually, and I know we've not discussed most of these.
Uh-huh.
There should be a Rubens Barrichello.
Ah, nice. I like Rubens because young driver team, another old bloke getting them the
The
experience.
oldest, most experienced driver in Formula 1.
Yes.
Okay, then we could look at Giancarlo Fisichella.
Yes, comes
We
in cheap.
could look like an Alan McNish. There's an Alexander Wurz. There's probably even Pedro Della Rosa. They could do a lot better with all that wealth of experience lying there.
Very well said, my friend. Caterham, a lighter green color this year. Someone that I'd like to see in Formula 1. Nice bloke. Didn't get a drive this year because
Life's been unfair to him in the last 3 months.
Absolutely. In fact, the last 3 years, ever since he joined McLaren and Lewis alongside him. Heikki Kovalainen.
Yes.
Very, very nice, charming guy. Should get a drive in Formula 1. Coming to the last team, Marussia. And this time they had money to test. So I'd really be happy to see a guy who can get the results out of testing.
And that has to be Timo Glock. I mean, my heart goes out to him again. He's lost out only because they couldn't afford him, etc., etc. But it has to be Timo Glock. A brilliant talent you can't ignore for too long.
And let's come back to what happened in Jerez. And it was a brilliant testing session that we didn't understand anything of. But what we do know is Red Bull and Lotus are rumored to be closely quick. McLaren is very close in the third. And if it would not be right to leave out Ferrari and what they could be doing with a new testing wind tunnel. Kunal?
I'm very glad we've had this discussion on the third driver. There have been some great names who deserve to be on the grid. Some
You forgot
great teams.
the best name.
Which is?
Mine. I deserve a drive. Get me a toy car for God's
Let's
sake.
put you in the paddock and the pit lane as a reporter for
I'm going to
the
write
podcast.
Bernie's daughter. I'm not chopping that. Bernie.